She brings a lot of talent. She throws the ball hard. She tries to change speeds on occasion. She can make the ball go down and up. She is just a complete player, generational talent.
And it will be the highest of praises for the top of this Lady Vols lineup as Kiki Malloy, who just last week became the Volunteers' all-time home run queen. She will lead it off with Gibson, another All-American, in the 3 spot. And a matchup between players who were both on the USA Player of the Year watch list has us off and started as ball 1 called by Jim Cooper on a bit of a cloudy day. We had a little bit of rain before first pitch, but they're ready to roll.
You know, you could just easily say that Kiki Malloy is a generational talent. I'm not overselling it. There's a lot of horsepower on both of these teams' rosters.
Let's look at the right-handed batter in Malloy, who all she did last weekend in the Tennessee Classic was hit 4 home runs, steal 7 bases, and hit 800 as the Lady Vols were happy to be back at home with 3 run rule wins in the 5 victories. As Malloy goes the other way and introduces us to the second baseman in Moore, who files over to first for out number 1.
And that is a win for the Clemson defense. If you get Malloy to stay out of the gaps of that ball or in the ballpark with that ball, that is a win.
Well, those who watched Clemson face off with Georgia a week ago know that runs will certainly be tough to come by. It was 2-1 victory in extra innings in a rain-soaked Athens evening as a pop-up towards the right side by Destiny Rodriguez, hauled in by Moore. 2 up, 2 down for Cagle here in the top of the first.
Now, of course, it's very, very early. I mean, we're 4 pitches into the ball game, and this is, or maybe 5, but this is very, very much more Cagle-ish than we saw in her last outing.
So we bring in another preseason All-SEC nominee in McKenna Gibson, who had the game-winning hit in the 1-0 matchup last season. Early February battle down in Florida as Gibson takes an off-speed strike. 3 home runs on the year. Count evens 1-1 as Gibson named All-America last year on the 2nd team, also a member of that USA Player of the Year watch list. So it is just as good as it gets on this Tuesday afternoon. 1 pitch chased on, and Cagle gets ahead in the count 1-2.
And that's something that the Tennessee Volunteers are not used to, and that is Cagle actually, from time to time, can actually just throw the ball by you.
Good take, and we introduce you to the battery mate who almost always catches Valerie Cagle and Abby Vieira.
A very good receiver, an excellent handler of the pitching staff, and an unsung hero a lot of times offensively.
Zeta Pooney, power hitting cleanup spot on deck as the off speed has Gibson off balance, and Valerie Cagle, after a veteran that needs no introduction. Peyton Gottschall comes to the circle, transfer from Bowling Green, who had a 16-2 mark last season, but see the win and loss record. She has been asked to face some tough competition this year.
She's played some good teams, but what impresses me most about her is she's got a strikeout to walk ratio of 16-1.
49
strikes, she pours it in.
49-3. Gottschall's strikeout to walk ratio as she faces the UNC transfer and Alex Brown, who runs through a pitch that just misses the plate to get the bottom of the first inning started. And we look at Coach Rittman's lineup, where Cagle filed into the 3 spot. Kylie Johnson, the freshman, gets the start with Lindsey Garcia out, who suffered a bit of a injury over the weekend.
I think they're holding her out as a precaution midweek. On Sunday, she tweaked the leg, rounding third base.
Clemson will stay at home all week. Start the Tiger Invitational with a doubleheader against Minnesota on Thursday. So a busy week of action. Meanwhile, the Vols, they come off of 5 games in 3 days. This is the 6th game for Coach Weekly and company in the last 4 days. They beat Longwood yesterday, 7-0. Now we'll have a change in scouting sheets for our battery as we introduce you to this Tennessee defense with the Oklahoma transfer Sophia Nugent behind home plate. We already know about Kiki Malloy in center, but don't forget about the talent of Riley West out in left field. The 3 outfielders rounded out with Taylor Panel, certainly a A+ defense for Coach Weekly.
Absolutely, and they're playing Brown to go opposite field as you would with most slap hitters.
And it's a perfect bunt down the first baseline. Katsoyanopoulos able to fire over to Rodriguez, and that'll get us loose and running as Julia Katsoyanopoulos makes a great play.
And that's what you're going to see with these two teams. They play good, clean defense, and that's hard to do. You see, as she breaks in here and just throws a strike to the second baseman. Man, it's pretty when everybody does their job.
Nicely done by the Arizona transfer over at first base for Tennessee as Mackenzie Clark comes to the plate. Clark had a home run, 3 hits over the weekend as Clemson took 2 out of 3 to start ACC play against NC State.
A very good NC State team.
The Wolfpack took Saturday's opener after Friday's game was rained out. Clemson would then run rule in game 2, and a crazy comeback on Sunday. You were part of that one.
That was the craziest thing I've ever seen. The young lady in the batter's box right now, Mackenzie Clark, is often overlooked because of Cagle. But Clark is a 5-tool player. She hits for power, hits for average, runs very well, throws the ball well, plays great defense. She can do it all.
Gottschall reliant on her curve drop combo as this is poked out down the left field line and fair. Mackenzie Clark continues her hitting ways after a clutch 3-run home run on Sunday. Little mini hitting streak forming now for the 2-hitter.
Yes, she got off to a slow start, and everybody always says, well, what's wrong with her? What's wrong with her? Nothing's wrong with her. She's off to a slow start. You know, if you're a 400 hitter, by the end of the season, you're going to be hitting close to 400. You know, and it doesn't matter if you grab the hits in February or if you grab them in May or you give them in March, April. It don't matter. They all figure out.
Cagle swinging at the first pitch. This has 6-3 double play written all over it, but it takes Katsoyanopoulos off the bag as Bella Faw's throw is high, so there'll be 6 unassisted on the fielder's choice, and Cagle likes to do that, doesn't she? In the first inning, doesn't let anyone introduce her, just swings at the first pitch.
Oh, yeah. And she's up there to swing. I guess she was safe. It was close.
Certainly looked like Katsoyanopoulos' foot might have tied the runner, which of course usually leads to the safe call as Aaliyah Lungaleo, one of the hottest hitters in the nation, swings over a rise ball from Gottschall. Lungaleo hitting up over 350 and a pair of home runs against NC State.
She's had a big weekend. I was here for the complete series over the weekend, and when Lungaleo starts heating up, and John Rittman told us this in the meeting this morning, I mean, she can go on a 3-week streak where she's just, you can't get her out.
6 for 10 against the Wolfpack as Gottschall able to find the strike zone. Jump ahead in the count here with Cagle at first base. Maddie Moore on deck as Clemson looks to strike first. Working from the third base side of the rubber as the count evens 2-2. So interesting to see how different pitchers like to favor one side over the other.
Yep, they're working batters away. Both of them right now appear to be working all of the hitters away.
See where the launch pad for Gottschall's pitch released from. Of course, this season, the first year where the crow hop is allowed. You are now allowed to jump off of the pitching rubber. You don't have to keep that back foot dragged, which does probably relieve some stress for pitchers around the nation.
Well, they're trying to get all of the subjectivity out of it. It's just very hard to interpret some of those things, and it was very tough for the pitching coaches. It was very tough for the umpires. I'm glad that they're doing some of those small things that they can do to enhance the pace of play and to enhance the consistency.
Payoff pitch with the runner on the move. It's popped into shallow left. Easy grab for West as Clemson goes down. Tennessee will come back to the
coach. Very intelligent coach. As a matter of fact, she's got a law degree. And I've known Karen Weekly for a long time. Umpires don't have a chance when talking to her.
One of the reasons why this Tennessee team has been so good is the addition through the portal as Zeta Pooney, who won the championship with Oklahoma a few years ago, transferred over to Knoxville, and here in her second season in the SEC as Pooney leads off this second inning against Valerie Cagle.
Today with the wind, just a little flitter of wind, and it's not blowing in or out, really just kind of fluttering around. The ball will carry out of this ballpark today.
70 degrees and cloudy. A little bit of moisture in the air with some rain expected tonight, so they moved up the start of this one. Expected to be a 7 o'clock first pitch, and tough task for Tennessee as we take a look at what should be a beautiful rest of the game, but Tennessee played yesterday afternoon, a doubleheader on Sunday, and both these teams played a doubleheader on Saturday as well, as the Lady Vols have had just a nightmare of weather this year. They had a crazy snowstorm before the season started in February, and unfortunately didn't get to play against some top teams with rainouts similarly to Clemson, as Pooney goes fishing on 2-1.
That was that big heavy drop ball.
And it fills the count here, 3-2 from Cagle. Riley West on deck. Got her swinging, back-to-back Ks as we go back to the changeup that ended the top of the first inning. You had quite the reaction to it.
Oh, it's just not fair. This is not a changeup. This is something off, but the thing Cagle can do is she runs it up there near 70 miles an hour every time she wants to throw the ball hard. And if you can back that up with a 50-mile-an-hour changeup, well, that's just not fair.
The matchup last season back on February 25th, a 1-0 win as Cagle went the distance, 6 innings, no walks, 8 strikeouts, but Riley West had herself a good game, a 404 hitter here this season.
You can't find many bad hitters in the Tennessee lineup. Matter of fact, there's not one.
Count pushes to 1-2 as the Lady Vols come off of their first ever twofer. They won the SEC regular season, first time since '06, and they won the SEC tournament for the first time since 2011. So expectedly, the coaches have picked them to win the SEC here in 2024.
Well, they've got a great roster assembled. Much of the last several years has been Tennessee and Alabama up there near the top of the conference, if not there. And there, she catches her looking for strike 3.
Yeah, fluttery curveball at the bottom of the zone, and it's 3 straight Ks for Cagle, and 2 outs here in the second as Pooney and West go down.
Watch this. Took just a little bit off of it, got her at the knees.
What Cagle has been able to do with such a limited arsenal, you really only see 3 pitches from this righty, the drop and rise combination vertically, and then the off speed you saw there to start off against Nugent.
Listen, any pitching coach, any pitcher will tell you, if you can pitch up, pitch down, and change speeds, you can win. It's not about, how many pitches you got, it's how good you are at them. You hear somebody say, I got 6 pitches, then they probably don't have any.
1-1 pitch to the Oklahoma transfer.
And there was that changeup that just makes your knees weak. You're sitting up there geared up for 70 miles an hour, and that thing just comes out and takes an hour and a half to get there. It's just not fun.
It has been an efficient 5 up, 5 down, and a good take by Nugent extends the inning with Taylor Pannell on deck. Nugent, in fact, faced Clemson in the Supers last year as a member of Oklahoma and picked up an RBI in that crazy game 2 that fans don't need remembering. As the count fills here with 2 outs in the second inning.
You certainly don't want 2-out walks. But again, Tennessee puts so much offensive pressure on you. You have to be careful with everybody.
Certainly a top-heavy lineup, though. We'll get to the bottom here in a little bit as a 2-hopper finds the shortstop Lungaleo, and it's 6 up, 6 down for Valerie.
Pre-game, his legs are as white as snow, yet he's there dressed up in that gray alternate uniform today.
Yeah, back-to-back trips to the Supers, looking to host one potentially this season, hoping that year 5 can be the team that finally knocks down the door to OKC. We'll see if Coach Rittman's reaction time can be a little quicker here this week.
Yeah, he needs to move a little better. That is gray he's wearing, right?
Anthracite is what Nike likes to call it.
Excuse me?
Anthracite. Starts
I'm
with an
not
A.
your aunt anything. What do you mean anthracite? What are you talking about?
You'll see it around the country. Nike teams have a specific color of dark gray.
And it's called
Anthracite. Fun fact.
Why would you know that? Don't you do anything?
It's my University of Florida education there. They made us call it that
Anthracite.
color. Anthracite.
Okay.
Especially Tim Walton's crew. They wore anthracite a lot.
I bet they did.
I was going to say, you talk about Bama and Tennessee owning the SEC. Don't forget about the Gators. They always stay in the hunt. I think they had a big win against UCLA the other day. And Matty Moore. Go ahead.
You can't forget the Gators. If you do, they'll call you. So I mean,
absolutely.
Pardon me, all the good people in Gainesville.
Well, the Lady Vols have certainly had the Gators' number here over the last few seasons. As Peyton Gottschall falls behind in the count to Matty Moore.
Matty Moore came here to Clemson as a left side infielder, played a little shortstop, a little third base. But a year ago, when they moved her over to second base, she found a home. And once she got comfortable there, her game elevated, in chunks. You just saw it like every week.
Got responsible for the go-ahead home run on Sunday in that wild come-from-behind victory. Clemson was down 5-0 in the first inning, scored 4 in the bottom half, took the lead 8-5. NC State took the lead 9-8, and then it was Moore's home run that propelled the comeback for a 14-9 victory.
Craziest game I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of softball.
Let's see if we can match that here this week. And a great at-bat to start the inning from Moore. Isn't that something as a coach? And for those that don't know, sitting next to the head coach for Kennesaw State for over 2 decades. And don't you want the first hitter of every inning to create a situation?
See pitches. The longer you can stay in there, the better chances you've got.
Really get to display the full pitching arsenal as a fastball inside is fouled back. One thing I thought was unique as well, talking to both coaches, these are a pair of pitchers that don't shy away from a fastball, which is not a pitch you see a lot in softball.
No, they don't mind throwing it firm.
The catcher in Vieira on deck, followed by the freshman Kylie Johnson. 3-2, misses high and outside, and Clemson gets a base runner here in the second.
And that was a good, hard-earned, as you alluded to, at-bat. See, when you're the leadoff hitter of an inning, your primary job, we love it if you hit a double if you're a coach, but your primary job is to get on base, set the table. And 2 years ago, she would have not done that. She would have chased that ball. Matty Moore would have chased a pitch or something, but now she's turned into a very good college hitter.
Speed on the base pass as Vieira puts down a bunt. Katsoyanopoulos able to fire again over to Rodriguez, and it's a 3-4 sacrifice put by Vieira. Of course, you're going to get.
Yeah, Katsoyanopoulos did the only thing she could was get the out at first.
Good job, Katsoyanopoulos.
I'm not going to do that again. Well, the rest of the game she will be referred to as 27.
As expected, Vieira gets applauded by her dugout, and it leads up to the freshman Kylie Johnson's at-bat.
Tell you what, getting bunts down is a lost art. Baseball and softball, in my opinion, and it was just good to see. And I'm impressed with both teams have come in here with they got big game attitude about them today.
There is something in the air, isn't there?
Yeah.
Talking to both coaches, they know that it is early days. Both emphasize that it's really not a season that can be won in February. But at the same point, Tennessee has 4 losses, 3 of them to top 10 teams. They know they've had the opportunities.
Yep.
Clemson as well has squandered top 10 matchups. They have beaten Oregon in the top 20. But this would be a top 10 win for the Tigers at home that could go a long way.
And they could use that. I think they need it mentally. To be honest with you, I think this game is a little bit bigger for Clemson than it is Tennessee in terms of psyche and things of that nature.
1-2 to the freshman, misses high from the grad senior, transfer from Bowling Green as Gottschall comes off of the 2022 MAC Conference Player of the Year, Pitcher of the Year. And then last season had a phenomenal season behind Ashley Rogers, but the question is, how can Tennessee replace the NFCA Pitcher of the Year? And that's a phenomenal rise ball.
Just threw that thing up and by her.
looked like it was in the zone the entire
Yes.
way, and at the very end, Gottschall gets the swing.
See right here. See, that ball is out of the zone. She swung where it was, not where it is.
Not where it was going to be.
Yeah.
Now JoJo Hyatt, the DP today, splits catching duties with Vieira. Take a little high, and this is an opportunity. You go back to the Clemson-Georgia game last week. 12 Tigers left on base. A runner in scoring position here. You know, with the speed of Moore, a base hit could give Clemson the lead.
Yes. And JoJo Hyde is one of the originals. She was part of the first recruiting class to come to Clemson. There's several of them that are littered up and down the roster. This team is only in its 5th year of live competition. But most of these kids, you know, were affected by the COVID season. A lot of them got here. Some of them got here a year before they started playing. So some of them are almost in year 7 here.
And before there was a field.
Yes.
Oda on deck, the other original Tiger. Has a beautiful front door curve. Pushes the count to 1-2. A delayed steal. Gunned out by Nugent. Her first caught stealing as a Lady Volunteer. And it sends us to the 3rd inning. One more look at this gem of a throw.
The runs for the Tigers in the bottom of the
And it takes us to break.
And the
Lined out on the burn in center and left.
Oh, these fans are great now. I'm here often, and the bowl is always sold out, and the burn is usually always full. So attendance, this part of the country has taken this Clemson team and has fallen in love with it, and they show up and they're knowledgeable. The crowd behind home plate, I call them the 45. They're some of the best umpires I've ever been around.
Alongside the Hall of Famer in Scott Whitlock, I'm Daniel Gilman as Taylor Panel takes and evens the count 1-1.
There was somebody sitting right behind home plate with a UT t-shirt on.
Listen, only about 200 miles between and a ride through the rocky roads.
How did she get that seat? I mean, she's right behind home plate, man. Those are good seats.
2-1 the
See her
count.
right there, right above the end in Clemson.
That one short hops from Cagle here in the 7-8-9 for the Lady Volunteers. Kotsoyanopoulos on deck, followed by the shortstop in Faw.
But she wants to throw strikes here. You don't want to start walking to 7, 8, and 9 people, because that brings the lineup back around, and you don't want people on base when they're hitting.
Drop ball tails low, and it's a leadoff walk for Panel, the first base runner today for the Lady Vols.
And Daniel, I do not know why. I've been around this game 40 years, but leadoff walks score. I don't know why, I don't know how, but they score.
So it brings up Kotsoyanopoulos, who had a home run earlier this season against Kennesaw State. Have to throw that one in there for you, Coach.
I appreciate that.
Transfer from Arizona, who played in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics as a member of the Italy national team.
How about that?
Talk about an unbelievable memory.
Yeah, what a thrill. Yeah, I mean, that's something there.
We're going to have a little Olympic talk here around the corner as former Tennessee coach Ralph Weekly will join us. As Kotsoyanopoulos skies one out to Johnson and right. Oh, a late recognition from Panel, but she'll get back in time, and there's one out.
Good job that time by the right fielder. Was able to get under there and, you know, hustle it back in. Kaylee Johnson out there today. As we told you, Lindsey Garcia not available today.
The one starting freshman on both sides, and it's Bella Faw in the 9 spot, making her 14th start of the year.
There's the 45. I told you they were down there.
A little bit more than 45 people upset with that ball call. As the defense looks for a DP. Clemson has turned 3 double plays this season. Cagle able to even the count with well-placed 1-0 pitch.
This crowd here, anytime Valerie Cagle lets go of a ball, it should be called strike according to this crowd.
And a dangerous hitter on deck in Malloy. Bunted off the body in the box. So count moves to 1-2. You see the pitch count.
Yeah.
That's as tight as it gets through 2 1/3. It has been clean sailing for Valerie Cagle.
I couldn't tell then if she was squaring to protect a stolen base or was she trying to get a base hit out of that.
1-2 pitch rises high.
I don't know that I would bunt here, because if you bunt her over and leave first base open, then Malloy's not going to get anything to hit if I'm pitching.
2-2. Squibbed foul. Regardless, Brown over at third is staying honest.
Brown came in from North Carolina, and she's taken the place of a great defender, Reedy Davenport, that was here a year ago with the Tigers.
Wow, great battle, but Malloy's ankles almost got taken off by that foul ball.
Yeah, she almost hurt herself with that.
Great reaction time on the jump from Kiki. You see how close the on-deck circle is here at the corner?
Very, very close.
Malloy inching a little bit closer to behind home plate next to that Nike logo. Panel at first with a leadoff walk.
Good battle here. Looked like the battle that Maddie Moore had earlier in the game.
Take a look at the stat line. Fall 1 hit, 19 at-bats this season, but she has brought her AI on the road down to Clemson.
You got a challenger.
Full count.
This right here is inviting trouble. You're dancing with the devil right now. You don't want to do that with Malloy coming up.
We'll see if Panel's off with the pitch, as the 9th pitch of the at-bat delivers from Cagle. Another foul ball. That's the 4th foul ball this AB.
And she was going. The runner was going. See, Panel trot back.
We've got a quick meeting between Vieira and Cagle. Talk about chemistry. These two have certainly built one.
Yes, they have. And it started almost immediately when Vieira arrived. I mean, she's a junior now, but she developed a rapport with Cagle. And this is the first season that Vieira's had since she's been at Clemson that she's healthy.
3-2, what an eye on a changeup taken by the freshman Fall, and there's 2 on with 1 out for Kiki Malloy.
And now things get just a little hairy. This is when you're asked for trouble. Down at the bottom half of the order, the bottom third of the order, and you walk 2 out of the first 3 to start the inning to bring up maybe the best player in the country in Malloy.
7 home runs in 17 games.
I'd like to see somebody go out there and just have a talk with Cagle to slow things down, particularly between her ears. You can sometimes get thinking fast.
Malloy grounded out to second in her first at-bat. Now the 1-0. Called strike on the outer half. That's a pitcher's pitch.
You know, it's really funny. If you're sitting on the third base side, you think Malloy's the best player in the country. If you're sitting on the first base side, you think Cagle's the best player in the country. You don't get many games like that.
We get a perfect showcase here. 2 on, 1 out in a tie game. 1-1, change up, stroke down the right field line. Johnson to the warning track. It's off the 205 sign. Runners had to hold. Panel gets sent home, and she'll score on the RBI double by Malloy.
I said it earlier, leadoff walks score. I don't know how, I don't know why, but they always do. And now with only 1 out in the inning, you can see that ball just, you got to understand, that ball is tailing away from the right fielder all the way out there. She ran as far as she could. She did a good job, actually, of getting the ball back in. The base runners had to hold their ground because they were scared they were going to catch the ball.
5th double of the season for Malloy, and Destiny Rodriguez takes a strike on a drop ball off the outer half.
And Cagle and Tigers could really use a strikeout right here.
Talk about clutch hitters this season. It has been Destiny Rodriguez. Game-winning home runs against Baylor and Stetson, and what a snag by Hiller. Wisely runs towards the base runner in Rodriguez and keeps everyone put for the second out.
You know, what you got to remember there, and that was a very, very heads-up play by Hiller, but what you got to remember, the base runner from first to home cannot back up. They have to keep going. They can stop. No, they can stop, but they cannot back up.
I'll trust you on that one.
Better trust me.
I do. McKenna Gibson comes to the plate, 6th hitter of the inning. This is where we'll see how careful Cagle is as she strikes first against the All-American Gibson.
You want to argue with me about that?
I know that at the MLB level, I've seen a miraculous play from Javier Baez. Remember, he ran back, created that pickle, but I don't know about on this level. As a 2-hopper chases Brown to her left, and Cagle able to tightrope out of damage, but not before Kiki Malloy strike inning as a pair of walks take us to the bottom half, and we introduce the legendary Hall of Fame former Tennessee coach in Ralph Weekley. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you, and thanks for having me on.
Now, we really appreciate it. You and my partner over here in Scott Whitlock go back. I'll let you two cut it up a little bit, but first question I want to ask you, in a matchup of this magnitude, how much fun do you still get watching high-level softball?
Well, it's a lot of fun, but as a coach and a hitting coach primarily, and Scott will tell you, you don't hit a pitcher like Cagle back in the box. You know, a guy told me a long time ago, and I'll be quick, if the ball's thrown, dropping in front of the base, you move up in the box. If the ball's thrown hard with a lot of movement, you move back in the box. If the ball's thrown hard with movement, you just kiss your butt goodbye.
You take as much time as you need. We've got the double box going as JoJo Hyatt at the plate, the 8-spot hitter against Peyton Gottschall.
Ralph, if I knew they were going to give you camera time, I never would have got you to come on here and talk to me.
Well, I'll tell you something. John Rittman and you, Scott, were huge. I was fortunate enough to coach in the 96 and 2000 Olympics and then became director of national teams. The first person I went out for was Mike Candrea. I got Candrea on board and went after John Rittman and saw you, Scott, as Mike Candrea's right-hand man. Mike has so much respect for you, and it's all happened with 3 of us lucky enough to be a national team coach in the Olympics on the same field.
Well, it was a big honor to be part of the national team staff and in the coaching pool. And of course, everybody knows, a lot of people in the softball world know my relationship with Coach Candrea and with you, quite frankly. I've known you longer than I've known Candrea. And I've known Candrea forever. So, but you and I go back to the NAIA days when you were at PLU, Pacific Lutheran, and I was at a brand new program at Kennesaw. And so you and I've got some history.
Well, you're sure right about that. In fact, one of the things, I think we played a couple times in those national championships, didn't we?
Well, you better well know it. You beat me for the national championship in 1992. You had to bring it up, didn't you? Hey,
no, I thought you brought it up, but either way.
Hey, Ralph, they're showing the photo that you and I and Rittman took earlier today. That's on the screen right now. And I want to tell you, I look good.
Oda strokes one down the first.
Well,
she'll head over to second for a 1-out double as we are joined by Ralph Weekley, the former Tennessee head coach. What's it like? I know you don't go on the road a lot with your wife, but what is it like watching her coach from the dugout?
Well, it's fun. It's fun, and the biggest thing you have to learn when you're the husband of a very good coach is keep some of your thoughts to yourself, you know. Let her make those adjustments. She's smart. By the way, that was a great hit by
Oda.
By Oda, yeah, Clemson. She just jumped on it and drove it into right field.
Hey, that keeping your mouth shut thing, how's that working out for you?
Sometimes it's good. Sometimes I sleep in the guest bedroom.
I don't think that is reserved for only coaches. I think that'll end with just being a husband. Well, you learn that one.
Well, not only are you married to a coach, you're married to a lawyer.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've seen her get changes of venue and arguments with an umpire.
You know what they teach you in law school, don't you? Deny, deny, deny,
yeah.
And delay.
Yeah.
Called strike evens the count to Alex Brown here at the top of the lineup for Clemson after Oda's double with 1 out.
Well, I don't want the lawyers coming after me. I have a lot of respect for them, but
you chicken.
They're sharp.
Rodriguez fires to first, and a chance for Mackenzie Clark here with 2 outs.
Well, that was a productive, even if it was an out, that was a productive out. It moved the runner. How important, Ralph, is it to have productive outs?
Well, it's very good in a game like this with 2 pretty good pitchers to be able to get the runner on base and move her over. And now all we need is a single to bring in a key run, tying run.
Tell me about, what do you think about Gottschall?
I think she's pretty good. I think she needs to use the off speed a little bit, but and she has a good one. So, but I think she's pretty good, and I'm happy to have her. And she's a competitor.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people don't know this about you, Ralph, and I'm going to tell them because I take a great deal of pride in this, is the fact that long before softball, you were a colonel in the United States military, and you served your country. You actually started coaching while in the military, didn't you?
Yes, I did, and I was an officer. You called me colonel. I was an officer, and I was a OSI agent, so my rank was secret.
So were you a spy? Are you like a James Bond?
No, I
didn't think so.
My job was fraud, criminal, and counterintelligence, like NCIS. And
I got you.
You know.
We got a camera shot right now. It's got both you and Rittman in it. I think I'm going to have to just quit talking and just look at it. You know what? John Rittman's somebody that makes you look good, Ralph.
Well, everybody makes me look good, so what the heck, you know.
That swing by.
Everybody looks good around me. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, I know what you meant. Now
Let's hold on for a moment here. The swing by Clark seemingly caught Nugent on the follow-through, so a moment there to pause.
Yeah.
But big pitch coming here. 2-2 with 2 outs in the third and a 1-run Tennessee lead. You have the powerful Cagle on deck.
Ralph, don't you hate they're playing softball right in the middle of our conversation?
Absolutely. Whoops.
Line drive to center field. Malloy is there. And with the big hit in the top of the inning, Malloy makes the grab. Ralph, you want to stick with us for the top of the fourth?
Yes, I'd like to walk in the clubhouse where all the guys are jumping on him and everything. And Lawyer Malloy, her dad, was a 4- or 5-time All-Pro safety with the Patriots.
Yeah.
And anyhow, so Peyton Manning was in the locker room. He walked over and waved at him, and they hugged each other. And then Peyton says, "Lawyer, tell him about the championship series." And again, Lawyer said, no. But the long story is, and I don't remember it exactly, but Lawyer was the safety that got the safety thrust, and Peyton was back with just a little bit of time left in the game, and Lawyer crushed him, and Lawyer's laying on top of him and says, or Peyton looks up and says, "Nice hit, Lawyer." And then Lawyer says, "Uh-oh," you know. And then Peyton says, "Did you see that touchdown?" And that was a great story, you know. So, and that actually happened. I think I know it happened, but I think it's accurate too.
Well, tell me something. How good is Malloy?
Really good. You know, I've been around the best and the best. Just been fortunate enough to be there, and she's an amazing player. She can run like the wind. She can make catches like you saw before. She can hit the ball out of the park, and she's a great young lady.
Yeah. You have coached some very, very good players. One of my favorite people is Monica Abbott, and her run Tennessee, I mean, quite frankly, was historic, wasn't it?
It was, absolutely. And it came down to us and UCLA, and we were fortunate enough to get her. And it was a great 4 years.
You see a base hit there to right field. So with one out, Tennessee's got a runner on. But, you know, you've coached so many of them. Now, tell me this. Give me your assessment of Valerie Cagle.
I think she's really good. I think she knows her strengths. I think she puts the ball low. And, again, here we are back in the back of the box. But that's, you know, it's hard to hit that ball that way.
You better hope Karen doesn't watch the replay of this game, or else you're going to be in a senior center somewhere.
Okay, you're right. You're right. No, I don't. I think Karen's doing what she needs to do.
I know you do.
But you see what I'm talking about?
Yes,
now?
I do. Yes, I do.
Is it not right that it's hard to hit someone like
Coach,
that?
when it comes to hitting, you're always right, man. I'm not going to talk hitting with you.
No, Scott, when I'm coaching, I would just say, "Get up on the box."
I know what you would do. Yeah, you would yell it. You wouldn't motion.
I'll make sure Karen doesn't see this.
Yeah, do that, please. I don't want to be sent to with you. You know, we'd be probably good roommates. But anyway.
Oklahoma transfer here in Nugent, and Well, Coach Weekly, I'm curious, of your 7 trips to Oklahoma City, do you have one memory or one trip that you hold most dear as Nugent goes down, second strikeout here this inning?
Actually, we're fortunate enough to have had two seconds, and probably the closest one was with Coach Candrea, who I'm like Scott, I really respect. And the key is that they scored in the 12th inning on a play at the plate that was bang, bang, and we were called out, so we lost it. So
I think that was one of the best World Series we've had in modern time.
Well, I'll tell you, this is a great game. You know, this is a great game for our teams and colleges, and the other networks, along with you guys, have said they'll televise it 24/7 if they can.
And I want to ask you one more quick question as we're in the second, 2 outs in this inning, and there's your lovely wife and you together in the photo, in the shoot. But, Ralph, what do you think about the transfer portal?
Well, I don't think it's been going long enough for us to make a great evaluation of it, but I kind of believe that it's nice if a player is able to stay 4 years with one school, like they did at our school, Scott, when we first started. And but it's surely changed the game, and it's surely changed the power, and who's tops and who's not. So it's here, and I guess we just got to wait and see what happens.
2-2 pitch here to Panel. Ground ball to third. Brown is there, and well, Coach, we thank you so much for joining us, and hope you have a fantastic rest of your. That's well to be decided.
But Ralph was great, though.
Yeah.
He tickled me, man. He wanted to talk about Lawyer Malloy. He just went to talking. I mean,
he's ready to break down the Patriots and the Colts and taking us back from break. There's no reason for me to be here when Ralph Weekly's play-by-play.
Yeah, you and I could have went and got food.
Meanwhile, now we get to see Valerie Cagle at the plate. A 1-run lead for Tennessee after Gottschall was able to work out of the double by Oda last inning. Cagle, who had the key home run in the second inning, try to help that come from behind effort for Clemson. Sunday's win over NC State.
And this game's already in the middle stages. This game's been so clean and crisp.
2 hits apiece. Just that clutch double by Malloy in the third inning to give Tennessee the lead as Cagle jumps ahead in the count 2-1.
It all precipitated on that leadoff walk.
You know, we asked Ralph off air how many times a leadoff walk scores. He says every darn time.
Yeah.
Seems to be the case as the count 3-1. And you would imagine Gottschall knows that Cagle's at the plate. Will be careful with this next pitch. Outfield playing a little bit shaded towards left field as that's where Cagle smashes it past the shortstop in fall, and a leadoff single here for the All-American.
With the leadoff, her being the leadoff runner and reaching, I wonder if John Rittman will pinch run for her. Maybe a little early in the game to do that. The Longaleo, she's not likely to bunt. Longaleo's probably, as hot as she is right now, going to be asked to swing away, and therefore Coach Rittman will probably not do a pinch runner. Let's see.
Well, instead, it's Coach Weekly who comes out ready to make a change. As we will see a new pitcher for the Volunteers. And Gottschall's day is done. Talk about a quick trigger as we will have a pitching change and tell you about the new Tiger when we come back. Yep. So we see the National Freshman of the Year a season ago. It is the sophomore from North Carolina, Carlin Pickens.
She is a good one. You see her right there. She's got long levers, long arms, long legs. She was absolutely great a year ago, and there's nothing about her statistics that would indicate she's fallen off pace at all. I mean, she's got a 0.93 ERA. She's 7-2. Just an outstanding college pitcher.
And as a freshman in Florida, a complete game shutout against this Clemson team last year as Pickens starts with a rise ball past the catcher in Nugent. That'll push Cagle over to second here with nobody out.
Well, there you go. That's another one of those no-nos. You know, we talked about leadoff walks, but you definitely don't want to bunt somebody over by throwing it away. Because now now Clemson's got 3 legit chances to score a run as opposed to burning one out to get her there.
Chance for Lungaleo. Corner infield expecting bunt.
They're not going to get it.
Swinging away, and a towering pop-up foul will tail out a play for strike 1.
Let's see. We've been having trouble up here with the fans not being in mid-season form fielding foul balls, Daniel, and I may have to have you go out there and give a mini clinic sometime this week. You're going to be here with me a while this week, aren't you?
Yeah, we got a pair on Thursday. I'm actually out to do the baseball game tomorrow for Clemson against Kansas State, and then gymnastics on Friday against Air Force.
Look at you.
Then we're back on Sunday against Fordham as Lungaleo drops the elbow again. Fly ball to left field, won't have the distance though as West times it up and keeps Cagle at second.
Well, you don't want to make an out at third base. So that Clemson has already had a runner trying to steal third base thrown out the end of the inning. And
Yep.
when you've got a runner out there on second base, you do not want to make the first out at third base.
Well, nobody wants to make amends more than Matty Moore, who was thrown out trying to steal third to end the second.
Had a great at bat to draw a walk her first time up.
Saw 9 pitches from Gottschall, who was responsible for Cagle at second. Look at the pace. Has to be somewhere in that 70 to 73 mile per hour range from Pickens.
That's firm right there.
Pickens, who throws hard, not afraid to go inside to righties. What I've seen from the last few weeks, coming off of a complete game shutout yesterday against Longwood.
You don't mind throwing hard as a hitter, but if they throw it hard and make it move, and if they change speeds,
That was filth.
That's filthy, isn't it?
That was a filthy pitch and ahead of the count 0-2.
That pitch is nasty. Went from 73 and brought it all the way down to the mid-50s. Nuts. That's not good.
Infield playing back, outfield middle depth, trying to cut out the run at home on a single. And that's exactly what they'll get. More up the middle. Cagle has to hold, and Clemson will have runners on the corners with 1 out.
Yep, you certainly couldn't run on that play with Malloy coming in from center field. But what a great job of Matty Moore, 2-strike hitting. And now Clemson's got a chance to get that run back. You're going to look, infield playing about halfway. It just went right back by the pitcher. And now Clemson's got a legitimate chance. Now you've got to do some strategy talking out there. When you got runners on first and third, Daniel, you got to get it.
Julia Baumhart, the pinch runner over at third base. So we'll see if Clemson elects to put runners in motion here with Vieira, a .230 hitter at the plate.
Tell you what, Pickens may have a lot of people here today. She's from Weaverville, North Carolina, and that is not very far from here, actually.
Infield in. Vieira foul tips into the glove of Nugent for strike 1.
Weaverville's over in the Asheville area, less than 2 hours. Maybe at 2 hours, actually. All right, our producer is telling us that it's about an hour and a half. Our very fine production crew, always full of answers, even when you don't ask them for it.
There is a certain tenseness in the air. It doesn't feel like the 4th inning in early March.
No, it doesn't. This is a big-time ball game, and I'm having a ball.
0-1, check swing. Yes, she went around, says Dustin Holton, much to the dismay of about 1,500 here.
You'll see right here. The bat went across the plate. I don't know how you can't call that a strike. Now, the 45 behind home plate, they don't think it happened, but.
Moore stays put at first. The 0-1, 0-2. Dribbles to home. Moore will take second, but that's a run-saving stop by Nugent.
Yes, it was. And incidentally, Daniel, since you're going to be here a few days, if a brawl breaks out, I am on whatever side the 45 are on.
I had no doubt.
I'm with them. Even if they're wrong, they're right.
Base hit could give Clemson the lead as Vieira takes high. Pickens came in just 2 batters ago.
Can you feel the tension? I mean, you're talking about the tension. It just went up a little bit again. I mean, these are big moments right here. Second and third, 1 out.
Tennessee
infield in.
looking for their first ranked win this season. Clemson looking for their first top 10 win here this year. 2-2 comes from Pickens. That's coming up towards us and just a little high.
Let the record show I was prepared.
There's a window. I mean,
yes.
I see there's a bit of a window. I'm ready for it. I hope the camera's ready in case it comes into our booth.
I hope they are too. And I'm hoping you're ready to work solo because I'm running.
I'm ready. There's our window.
Yeah. And see, there's a little bit of a gap over the net behind home plate.
Ready for the 2-2. Change up, and Vieira gets a piece.
I guarantee you that there's nobody in the production group that wants a foul ball to get near me because the whine level would go up so high.
Oh, people listening don't want it either.
No.
So the infield has moved back just a bit, but a ground ball should certainly test it at home. Runners at second and third here with one out. And a 2-2 pitch. A late life on the heater has Vieira swinging and missing.
That was a good pitch. That was a clutch pitch, by the way. That battle right there, you watch this thing drop. Well, it faded away. Actually, more of a fade away off the plate. It was off the plate, but it didn't look like it for a long part of the trip there.
And a little bit of screwball action from Pickens, the sophomore, and she will face the freshman in Kylie Johnson.
A late movement.
Needing a 2-out knock as the first pitch misses low from Pickens.
I can tell you as a coach right now, both Karen Weekly and John Rittman's stomach is in knots right now.
Weekly hoping she doesn't regret the decision to pull Gottschall. Wow, another tremendous stop by Nugent.
Tell you what, been a couple of 41-footers up there.
Yeah. Transfer from Oklahoma, who had to sit behind Kinsey Hansen. Hansen decides to come back for another year. Tennessee, the benefactor. Hitters count at 2-0, and Johnson takes a healthy hack.
That was a good pitch, 2-0. Johnson was looking to drive that ball. I like that fact in the young freshman.
Two-one. Same results. Charging inside on the righty in the count 2-2.
Why would you throw a different pitch?
Yeah.
She's thrown that pitch twice right by her. Why would you do it differently?
Timeout called by Rittman, the third base coach for Clemson. Talk about a big moment for a freshman to make her mark, filling in for the injured Lindsey Garcia.
Yeah, but it would be just as big a moment if she were a senior in this game, in this particular game of this magnitude. But you're right, this is a huge thing in the life of a 18 or 19-year-old.
Kylie Johnson, the freshman from Wesley Chapel, Florida. Ready for the 2-2. She'll take inside. Pickens goes back to the well and fills the count with JoJo Hyatt on deck.
I'm honest, I would throw it again and just see if she can lay off of it twice.
I'm going change up, coach.
Are you?
Defense playing straight up behind Pickens. Payoff pitch. It is the same pitch, and what a job by Johnson to foul it off. There's
an old adage in pitching, if they don't catch up to it, don't slow the ball down. And now that she's shown that pitch, I think 4 consecutive times, you got to think something different's going to come. If you could throw something in the strike zone, I think you would freeze her.
Another 3-2, misses high, and Kylie Johnson works a clutch walk to fill the bases.
2-out walks are not good either, by the way. Now the veteran JoJo Hyatt going to try to do something to help her team. She is like a Swiss Army knife for this team. She and Oda both. Matter of fact, they were high school teammates down at Buford High School, but they have done everything asked of them here for 5 years.
One of the OG Tigers, just 1 for 15 this season is Hyatt. And the ball gets to the backstop. Baumhart comes in and scores. Clemson ties it up.
That ball has had so much movement, it jumped. The catcher did not have a chance to really get it. you'll see if we get a replay of it, Nugent did not have a chance to really. You watch right here. That ball just jumped.
It hit the screen.
Yes, that was a huge, huge jump on that rise ball. And the pinch runner works out well for the Tigers. So John Rittman pushing the right button.
It was a close play at home, and now a little bit less stress at the plate for Hyatt, who takes a fastball down the middle for a strike, 1-1, and that is coming in with heat.
Yes, just think what will happen here now with a base hit. You talk about changing the complexion of a game. Game's tied now. We're right back where we started.
Hyatt with 1 RBI this season. 2-1.
That ball was thrown firm as well. I think that Miss Pickens out there might be just a little bit upset with herself. Had a little extra oomph on that one.
Now the run credited to Gottschall. Pickens responsible for these two as a ground ball finds Faw, another freshman. She'll fire across the diamond. And very similar to what we saw on the third, Clemson. Gilman, that's me. Gilman, you're Whitlock.
Yeah.
Easton Smith producing here on the ACC Network Extra, as we are so happy to be with you.
Who is that producing? Who'd you say? Who is it?
Easton is his name.
Really?
Named after a bat, I heard.
Yeah. Golly.
Julia Katsoyanopoulos to lead things off. Amidst all the Olympic talk and so many Olympic figures involved, Ralph Weekley, who was a part of the first ever Olympic USA softball team back in '96, and John Rittman in '03 joined the squad, and then, well, you joined him in '04 on the trip out to Athens to win gold.
Well, they did a great job over there. I mean, my association with the U.S. national group was, I mean, one of the highlights of my career, certainly. And it was an honor and a pleasure to get to watch these great athletes work. And now we've got this new wave coming in, and the young lady at the plate actually got to represent Greece in the
Italy.
Olympics. Excuse me, Italy. Well, she could have done it with Greece, too.
Yeah. I mean, any name that ends in Opolis.
Yeah.
Certainly up for it. Karen Weekley able to grab this transfer from Arizona in the portal this offseason as Katsoyanopoulos jumps ahead 3-1. She made 2 tremendous plays in the field earlier in the game at first base.
Yes. Very clean first baseman.
Called strike fills the count as Valerie Cagle able to breathe a little bit smoother now that her deficit has dissipated.
As a coach, after you score, you want your pitcher to go out and have a shutdown inning. And I think getting this leadoff batter is huge.
3-2 pitch. Oh, off the left leg of Cagle, and that'll be an infield single. Could not have felt good.
See if she's all right. You certainly want to check on the franchise. That ball hit her hard.
Yeah. Just have to hope it misses the shin.
Yep. And it didn't get the knee. But that ball was hit very hard.
It's a barreled single for Katsoyanopoulos. A conversation between Rittman and his veteran pitcher.
Yeah. She said, yeah, it hurt. You know, the coach asked a stupid question. I mean, every coach asks, how are you? I'm in a lot of pain. That's how I am. How are you?
Cagle will stay in. Meanwhile, a pinch hitter will come up for Tennessee, and it's the Middle Tennessee State transfer in Laura Mueller, excuse me, who had a pretty great weekend as Tennessee kicked off their home slate last weekend, and Mueller had a couple pinch hit base knocks and then went 2 for 2 yesterday.
Yep. She's hitting for Faw.
Potentially a bunting situation. Mueller looks to hit away and takes Hine outside.
Well, she's hitting .333 on the year, is Mueller.
Yep, first team all-conference as a member of CUSA last season. Also first team all-region for Mueller. With 57 ribbies. Was that the Blue Raiders?
Yes.
You know, it's funny, I got a text earlier when I was talking about the drive from Knoxville here, and I said the Rocky Road, and people thought I was talking about the Rocky Mountains. But I lived in Johnson City, Tennessee for a little bit a few years ago. I'm talking about the actual road. It's Rocky.
Yeah. You lived in Johnson City a while.
I did. I did a little summer baseball broadcasting for him in 2021. You know, the old Appy League.
Yes. Know it well.
1-2. Ground ball up the middle. Sliding stop made by Moore. She'll flip to short for the grab, and Lungaleo will hold it for the fielder's choice.
That was a pretty snappy play right there by Maddie Moore. She was able to feed that ball with her glove. If she had to take her time, if she would have had to take time to get the ball out of the glove with her right hand, I don't know if she gets the runner. You watch it, that was just a great play. Got the lead runner.
Wise decision by Lungaleo to hold, and now a strike starts the at-bat against the all-world center fielder in Kiki Malloy, who was honored with one of the biggest awards locally, which was the Knox News Sports Person of the Year last season. Came up just short to her dueling mate in Cagle for the Player of the Year award.
And there's an old adage in sports, don't let their best player beat you. And right now, I think Cagle is in that part of town.
Failing 1-1.
She has really got to be careful here. Make somebody else get you.
So you're an advocate that even if it's not first base open, there's still a base open.
It's not, yeah, but I'm not talking about an intentional walk, but I'm just saying if she's going to hit something, she's going to hit my pitch, not hers.
Oh, Malloy goes after one in the dirt. Late steal successful by Mueller.
Very well done, by the way.
Great job by Lungaleo to even get to that ball as Vieira chucked it into center.
They're asking.
And now we'll have a review on whether she left early.
Left early, yeah.
Here's a look at.
And I think she may have been swinging through. I don't think that Malloy was offering that pitch because she wanted to hit it. She was protecting the runner.
So let's see if we have an angle as Rittman challenges. And that's a situation, Coach, where you've got someone, a spotter in the dugout, just staring at first base,
yeah,
correct?
You got somebody watching it, and somebody told Coach Rittman to give it a look.
I believe the count now sits at 2-2.
There's a good shot of Coach John Rittman.
Third season in a row that Weekly and Rittman have dueled, but this is the first non-neutral matchup.
Let's see what we get here.
Ooh,
oh, yeah.
She wet.
She was gone.
Yep, you can see the left foot of Mueller at first.
Clearly gone.
Leaves right there. Yep.
Yep, she was out. Let's see if they have the view they want to change it, but she was definitely off the base before the ball was released. It's pretty obvious. What we'll see, though, is we will see Coach Weekly either show great patience or we'll get to see her
lawyer
plead
side?
her case before the jury.
There's Coach Rittman, who spent nearly 2 decades at Stanford. Came over to start this program here in Clemson. Hosted a regional in year 2, and now the conversation between Malloy and Weekly. She may be swinging away with some high hopes if the bases are empty with 2 outs.
What I think the umpires are still in there talking about, all right, who's going to show Coach Weekly? No, I'm not going back out there. You go back out there. Here we go. Let's see what we get. There's the home plate umpire coming out.
Jim Cooper has ruled the runner out.
Yep. And that was the correct call. I applaud this umpiring group to get together, go in there. I love the replay.
Yeah, this is the best angle.
This may be even better. Yeah, you can see it clearly.
Wasn't quite close, and so the count changed. So they take away the pitch, no longer 2-2, back to 2-1. And another showcase between two of the best players in all of college softball.
And now there is a base open. Let me just say this, but now Cagle 2-2. You want to make a good pitch here. Don't get too brave. Again, do not let their best player beat you.
Rodriguez on deck. 2-2 changeup. Lofted deep and foul, and here's a chance. Oh, off the fingertips.
This is getting to be a pattern.
Now that would have been an impressive catch.
Yes, it would have been.
And it was a Tennessee fan.
Oh, well, I'm not criticizing the out-of-town
Still would have been
players.
impressive.
I'm not going to criticize the out-of-town players.
2-2 fills the count. Malloy, the daughter of the all-pro safety lawyer Malloy. We heard a great story a few innings ago from the former Tennessee coach. Peyton Manning, a large portion of the recruiting efforts to get Kiki from UCLA swapping over to Tennessee as Malloy goes down on the drop ball. Cagle struts out of the circle with a shutdown frame. And with clutch moment after clutch moment this season, you go back to that infield single she was able to leg out to create extra innings against Georgia. And we'll lead things off here in the fifth.
And she is just a hard-nosed, find a way to stay in the lineup, not going to get me out of it type of player.
And the go-ahead home run against Charlotte as well. Doesn't usually provide a lot of pop as the 9-hitter.
With a great deal of affection and fondness, I always say about Oda, Coach Rittman has been trying to get her out of the lineup for 5 years, but you just can't get her out of the lineup.
Hitting 300 here in her swan song season. There's the 1-0 pitch from Pickens, called a strike.
You ever wondered about that term, swan song? Have you ever heard a swan sing?
I do know about it. So,
but have you ever heard a swan sing?
Well, I've never seen a swan die. So right before the swan passes away, it lets out this melody for the first time in its life.
Really?
Yes, and that's the swan song.
Oh, and I learned something here, boys and girls. I didn't know that. And I'll wager you may have been the only person here that knew that.
Timeout called there by
Pickens. Right as they're down, they let out a sound.
Correct. I will tell you, embarrassingly, how I know here in a second as Oda chops one over to Rodriguez, fires the first in time. You obviously have not seen the Winning Time HBO series about the Los Angeles Lakers. It's got, John C. Reilly plays Bus, and it's the beginning of one of the episodes. He talks about that, brings up the swan song, informs. I get a lot of my information from TV shows, but
that I would have guessed.
Yeah.
But
Alex Brown, top of the lineup. Third time through, first time facing Carlin Pickens as Brown goes down 0-1 on that chased slapping swing.
You know, you just provoked a thought with them getting Malloy to end the inning. If Clemson were able to squeak a run out between now and the bottom of the 7th, they would likely not have to face Malloy again.
A lot of Clemson fans not thrilled that you mentioned it, right? Yeah. Rodriguez, a recipe for success on a very similar situation. 2 up, 2 down here in the 5th.
Now here's somebody, again, there's 2 outs, but with Mackenzie Clark, she could change the scoreboard any minute. 1 swing.
3 home runs this season for the Floridian criminal justice major. Maybe she's looking for a similar path as Karen Weekly. Clark barrels one foul down the left field line, had the clutch 2-out game-tying RBI against Georgia in Athens last week.
And she could play on any team I coached. That is a very hard-nosed, exciting, excitable player, Mackenzie Clark. If you notice something about Clark that's a little unusual in today's game, she bats up she chokes the bat a little bit. Her hand is not resting on the knob.
Nearly 600 at-bats as a Tiger. You mention it now, you see it. It's almost like when Joey Votto with 2 strikes will go all the way up, or he used to.
Yeah.
And early on another one from Clark. She had a home run robbed this weekend against NC State.
And that was huge, too.
Worked as a sacrifice fly. There is a good look at the chokage here on the 0-2 delivery. Pickens strolling off, has to regather on a pitch that didn't get the call.
She thought she had her, but it looked off the plate from here.
Clean white uniforms for this midweek top 11 showdown. 1-2 evens the count. And it was Mackenzie Clark who reached via an RBI on an error in the 9th inning that beat Tennessee 2 seasons ago.
Yes.
It was a 9-inning complete game win for Cagle. She struck out 13 Lady Vols. Ooh, Carlin not getting the inner half or the outer half as the fill continues. Crowd getting into it a little bit more now.
And she's kind of puzzled as what she's got to throw to get this person out.
Sophomore named NFCA Freshman of the Year last year. Big pitch with Cagle on deck. Clark will extend it.
You don't want to have to face Cagle this inning.
A matchup between teams that have that one generational talent on either side, and you always have that spot in the lineup circled. Oh, it's the changeup that worked so well for Pickens in this matchup last season.
Much as we expected.
Destiny Rodriguez, the 2-hitter, to face Cagle and company. And the first pitch that misses high from Valerie Cagle, the 5th-year senior out of Yorktown, Virginia, who was Freshman of the Year in the ACC, Player of the Year, and did it again last season and got the national recognition to boot as the nation's best player. Have to imagine every game that Cagle pitches, just like we saw on Sunday, NC State came out firing.
Yes.
Tennessee has had a little bit tougher of a time.
Yeah. They, again, you get spoiled with these players, and you think every time they go out on the mound, they're going to do something a little more special than they did the time before. Well, Sunday was just one of those days for Valerie Cagle. She looked very human.
Ooh, someone in the dugout got that one. I think it was Zeta Pooney. She looks to be all right, but that's the second time that an early swing from the righty has found its way into Tennessee's dugout.
That'll loosen you up.
Kenna Gibson on deck as the 1-2 misses outside. Rodriguez hitting .375 this season with 4 long balls. 2 of them game winners.
But this would be a good time for the changeup.
This has been Rodriguez's moment late in games. Down 1 against Baylor on the road, hit a 2-run shot. And then last week beat Stetson with a late home run. Spot to lead off here in the 6th against the All-American. 2-2, chopped foul.
She's got you timed right now, and you've got a 2-2 count, and you've had control of your changeup today. I'd try to change the speed. It looks like she's changed the plane a couple of times, but I'd like to change the speeds right here and see if I can get her to do something to help me.
2-2, another drop ball that is fouled off. Tennessee back home on Friday for another weekend set with a doubleheader against Missouri State and South Dakota State. Take on Ohio State on Saturday, and then a rare one, they're going to go to D.C. to take on Howard on Monday.
How about that?
Should be a great crowd. I assume a lot of orange in attendance up there. Got her swinging. Rodriguez again on the drop ball as Cagle goes back to the well and picks up strikeout number 7.
And Cagle and her pitching coach was very, very, very stubborn that at bat. They just kept pounding it and pounding it and pounding it and pounding it. And it worked out. That's a big first out here in the top of the 6th.
Dangerous hitter in McKenna Gibson in the 3 spot. Takes
now
the
they throw the change out. Where were you when I needed you? What a great pitch for strike 1.
Gibson, who had 15 home runs, 60 RBIs last season. Drives it up the middle. Oh, tough hop, but Moore is there, and she has been tremendous at the Keystone.
She let that ball just kind of roll right into her body as it took a bad hop. She made up her mind that she was going to surround that thing.
How about the defense for both teams today? Clemson, who had an error-filled Saturday to start. A couple of them in the loss to NC State. A couple more on Sunday as well have been rock solid here today as a changeup has Pooney off balance.
Yeah, they both teams are playing as if they know the significance of this game today. Very clean, very crisp.
It's almost like there's a chance they meet again in May.
Yeah, and for you and I, it's a cakewalk because these games are just so easy to call because they're so doggone well played and they're fun.
May has been the focus for Pooney. She had 4 home runs in the regionals last season. Named All-Women's College World Series team as well.
There you go.
Tennessee swept through Texas in the Supers. Fell in the semifinals to Florida State. And a 1-2-3 inning for Cagle. She's getting better as the game goes on and will give win. They have fallen to Texas, Stanford, UCLA, and Fullerton, hoping to add Clemson to that list of marquee wins for Karen Weekly. And this is the matchup, Coach. Cagle against Pickens.
This is pretty interesting stuff here at this time of the game. We're down, to the last inning and a half, deadlock. Could very well be playing here 10 or 11 innings. Both pitchers seem to be in very much control of themselves.
Cagle's first matchup with Pickens today, and she will bunt it right back to the pitcher. And that's where mind games have to play in effect, don't they?
Yeah, she didn't want to bunt the ball to the pitcher. She was trying to get that ball out toward shortstop to get a leadoff runner on. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Great job getting off of the mound and getting over there to make that play.
Yeah, for Pickens.
And the young sophomore out of North Carolina helped herself there. Both of these pitchers, Cagle, excellent defender as well.
Brings up Aaliyah Lungaleo. He's hitting up over 330 this season, but a pair of flyouts today, including one against Pickens in the 4th. In the matchup last season, Lungaleo 0 for 3 against Pickens. Chasing one in the dirt evens the count. 40th pitch there from Carlin Pickens.
Yes.
How about a sub-1 ERA this season for the superb sophomore? Needing to fill the spots from Ashley Rogers, who threw over 140 innings last year. A high chopper challenges the freshman Faw, who gets it on the high hop. What a play.
That was a nice play by the shortstop, Faw. You don't know how hard that is because she is running away from where she wants to throw it. This is a fine play.
Oh, let's give some credit.
Yeah.
That's Soyanopoulos with the stretch as well, and Rittman's umpiring days long gone.
Yeah, well, you can expect that. I mean, I'll give him a pass on missing that one.
Brings up Maddie Moore, who has reached both times, a walk and a single today.
But that play by Faw, that is just so much more difficult than people may think.
Moore singled up the middle against Pickens.
Moore's up the knob a little bit, not quite as pronounced as Clark.
Everybody late around the nation that faces Carlin Pickens. Had a perfect game earlier this season. In fact, I think it was her second perfect game.
Just up the knob just a little bit.
Takes one just low. Pushes the count to 2-1. Got one of 3 Lady Vols with a pair of perfect games in her career, and Pickens just a sophomore.
Was the other one Abbott?
Yeah, can you name the third?
Ooh. No, I will not be able to.
Aaron Gabriel.
Okay.
Pickens was able to throw that perfect game against LMU at the Mary Nutter Classic in California. Same game that Malloy hit her record-breaking home run, number 58.
Tell you what, this Tennessee team is a good-looking ball club, aren't they?
Yeah, the 1-2 punch of Gottschall and Pickens.
They really play the game well. Clemson does as well, but I'm just saying, they just giving credit where credit's due.
Called strike 3. Moore goes down looking. Pickens able to keep pace with Cagle. And we are off. Yep, just shy of 60 innings, just shy of 60 strikeouts, and 96 pitches on the afternoon. And this is a key matchup as Riley West leads things off, followed by the Oklahoma transfer and Sophia Nugent. Third time through the middle of this lineup for Cagle. Third time facing Tennessee in her career as well. And West with a lot of action on this one.
Watch it.
Stay foul.
Stayed foul.
Yeah.
For the casual listener, you got to know this. If a ball starts off in foul territory and it rolls fair before it gets to the first base or third base line, a bag, that's a fair ball. And that ball had a spin on it for a second there. I thought that thing was going to spin back into fair territory.
That's exactly what Vieira thought as well.
I've seen that, actually.
Yeah.
Of course, when you've been around a million years, you see just about everything, right? I was talking to my good friend Abner Doubleday the other day, and we were talking about what we saw back in the old days.
Creator of baseball.
Yeah.
Riley West, one of the more underrated players on this team, snubbed from any accolades last season.
Yeah, but the coaches know it.
Oh, she is off to a hot start as well. Is 408 batting average with 6 home runs, including one yesterday.
In the 7th inning, you got to keep the leadoff batter off base. You've got to make good pitches. She got her buried in the count 0-2. The last thing you want to do is let her get a cheap base hit right here. Cagle needs to come here with her A game.
Outfield is deep. Changeup taken. Now, something that Madison Shipman talked about, one of the legendary volunteer catchers, is that Riley West has worked on quieting her swing in the offseason. Less movement, and we've seen what that's produced. An extra base hit machine here through the first month. 1-2, chopped down the third base line, in and out of the glove of Brown, but she has the firepower to make the throw.
Good job of remaining patient, Brown. She didn't get in too big a hurry. She could have easily gotten in a hurry and threw that thing out in the right field.
Using the transfer portal, Coach Rittman mentioned he only uses it for really needed spots. And Brown, certainly a spot that Clemson needed.
Well, she did something else that was very, very unselfish. She's a middle infielder by trade. And she took on the role at third base here at Clemson because they had a need. And these are the kind of discussions that you have to have with players. So credit to everybody. Now I'm just going to tell you, you're not going to find a coaching staff that handles their players and respects your players more than the way the coaching staff at Clemson does. I guarantee you that conversation was had early in the recruiting process. Or maybe not, but I just really believe that because Johnny does not go out and get people just to get them. He had a specific thought in mind. Well, you know what? I think she's even played some games at shortstop this year. And I think she and Longaleo have switched back and forth a couple of times. But now I think they've found the lineup they want.
Yeah, I think Brown has found a home in the hot corner. 1-2 to Nugent. Change up taken inside. One of two national champions on this Tennessee roster with Pooney and Nugent, both Oklahoma title holders. Pinnell on deck. Able to see
Just
another
got
net.
a little of that one.
Yeah, that was fractionally. I was watching yesterday's game, and Tennessee, who beat up on Longwood, Nugent was able to show her power. She had a foul home run in the first inning. Had to have gone 280.
Is that right?
Yeah. Certainly a lot of pop. This is into the glove. And an early birthday present for Cagle for out number 2.
And that's not an accident. Valerie Cagle is the best fielding pitcher that I've seen in a long, long time. Earlier in the week last week, I watched her play a game in right field. And I watched her make as good a catch as you can possibly make in the right center gap. Coach Rittman assures me that if she needed to, Valerie Cagle could play shortstop.
Flashes the glove. And it's Panel the final chance here in the top of the 7th as she fouls back the first pitch. Well, for those that just joined us, a few innings ago, it was back in the 5th that Katsoyanopoulos smashed one off of the left shin.
Yes.
Cagle never even took a pitch to warm up. She said she was fine and has seemingly looked so, as now one strike away from creating an opportunity for her offense. Katsoyanopoulos on deck. 0-2, tails outside. And Jim Cooper, the home plate umpire, has certainly stayed pretty objective for both of these pitchers. It's a tight zone.
It sure is. And, ooh, I know this much. The 45 didn't like the call.
Well, the string has been pulled. 9 strikeouts for Cagle. And okay.
This is Clemson's McWhorter Stadium. I'm just saying that. You were talking geography.
We got it.
Yeah, you were talking geography.
Hey, I'm all ears.
I'm talking rival.
Yep. And I'm talking Abby Vieira to lead things off as the catcher takes high from Pickens, who has shown a little bit of wildness. In fact, the only run scored from Clemson today, a 2-out wild pitch from Pickens in her first inning out of the bullpen.
Exactly right.
Vieira, Johnson, and Hyatt here in the bottom of the lineup for the Tigers, as an awkward swing finds its way fair to Gibson, and a quick throw over to first for out number 1.
Yeah, that was a very quiet first out. Clemson's kind of got caught down at the bottom of the order. And but the bottom of the order has scored runs for them. Another fine play by the infield from Tennessee.
Johnson swings at the first pitch, pops one out to Malloy in center. We know that pretty much the entire center field area is in Kiki Malloy territory. That one an easy one for one of the best fielding center fielders around. And it brings up JoJo Hyatt, 2 quick outs. Hyatt, one of the first Tigers, alongside her high school teammate in Odo, who stands on deck. Might that be the story that carries Clemson, or will we be headed to an 8th? Beautiful pitch from Pickens, in the count 0-2.
Tell you what, Pickens and has just done a great job of just saying, hey, here it is, try to hit it.
0-2 fouled back.
Well, you could say the same thing for Cagle. They both have been very much in charge.
Reminder, the first time these two teams played 2 seasons ago down in Clearwater. A 9-inning showcase, a complete game win for young Valerie Cagle.
Yes.
Last year, Tennessee won 1-0. As Hyatt will see another pitch. A couple chances to make a grab.
Yeah, well.
Both teams sitting at 13-4. Clemson 2-1 in the ACC. Tennessee will start their ACC season on March 15th against Missouri. 3 softly hit, created balls by Pickens, and we are off to the 8th, tied at 1.
So packed. They actually built another berm out in right center. Here we go. We're going to play some free softball now.
Yep, Julia Kutsoyanopoulos takes strike 1 from Cagle. 113th pitch from the veteran righty to the Italian national. He was a member of the Tokyo World Trip and even had a hit in the Olympics.
How about that?
On the Italy team. That's something that you could frame, shadow box it, whatever you want.
There's not many people that do that, you know.
Freshman Spot and Fall on deck, and a swinging strike and a spinning swing as well has Cagle to 10.
I will not tell you the word that went through her mind midway through that swing.
Something in Italian.
Yeah, that's right. Midway through that swing, it was just the words were just everywhere.
Oh, now the freshman Spot and Fall, who has already been pinch hit for today.
I've seen that so many times in my career. I mean, bless their hearts. Nobody makes it out on purpose, but when you get caught in mid-swing knowing what you've just done, oh, you just think the worst things of yourself.
One and one the count with the all-world Malloy on deck.
Yeah, you want to get this out. I can assure you of that.
Really shows how important the glove of Fall is. And she rips one into the glove of Cagle. What a grab!
Hey, I popped her up. What do you want? That's a 1. That's an F1. I mean, what do you want? Now, can I have time? I need to go to the restroom.
That face says it all.
Look right here. Bang. Bang. Now, about 3 pitches to Malloy, her heart will start beating again.
Talk about importance and a speedy base runner with Malloy at the plate. The world's difference in what ifs.
But you've got to be careful here, Malloy. Look at this. Bang, bang. Oh.
Yeah, that's the real-time look.
Be careful with Malloy here in this situation. You got 2 outs. You got fortunate on that on the second out.
Malloy's RBI double off the top of the wall in the 3rd.
You have to understand, I'm not surprised Cagle made that catch because she's that good of a defender. But you don't want, again, don't let the other team's best player beat you. Make her make an out hitting the pitch you want her to swing at.
63 career home runs for Kiki Malloy. And she'll rope one out to right for a 2-out single.
Well, you know what? I'll live with it. I really will. I mean, it could work out for the Volunteers.
I think both teams will live with it.
Or should I say the Lady Vols, excuse me. But you got to think that Malloy's running.
Well, she stole 7 bases over the weekend on 7 attempts. Has 13 this year is Destiny Rodriguez.
Well, they certainly thought she might be going on that.
That looked like a pitch out to me. There's Malloy.
I'd get that hitter. I wouldn't worry too much about anything else.
Rodriguez with a couple soft outs and a strikeout against Cagle. Hard hit, picked up by Brown, and she'll fire it across the diamond. Well, the barrels were there for Tennessee, but Clemson's gloves were there as well. And one of the oldest Tigers that exist on the softball record books coming up to the plate with Valerie Cagle in the 4th spot. Plenty of storylines here for you, Coach. What do you want to pick?
A lot of them. Get on base. First thing we got to do is get a base runner here if you're the Tigers.
Pickens able to do her best Cagle impression. PFPs have been focal.
Yes, they have. But that right there was, you want a little more out of that at bat. Let me put it to you that way.
1 pitch.
That's too easy. You're better than that if you're Arielota, and she'll be the first to tell you that. I'm not speaking harshly of her.
39 strikes, 19 balls thrown by Pickens.
Now, there is one thing you need to know about Brown. Brown is usually considered a slap hitter or this, that, and other. But she does have the ability to drive the ball into the gap.
Looking for her first Clemson home run as Alex Brown, the UNC transfer, fouls it back. Meanwhile, Carlin Pickens came in the 4th inning after Cagle single chased Gotchel. And all that Pickens has done is throw 4 1/3, allowing 1 hit, 1 walk, but the wild pitch that tied the game. The 0-1 from the sophomore is squibbed out to short. Fall has been phenomenal at that shortstop position. There's 2 outs.
I'm telling you, I mean, she's got some serious game with that glove. Serious game.
Now we get into one of the more pivotal at-bats here today. With Cagle on deck, Mackenzie Clark comes to the plate, representative of the winning run. First pitch misses inside as Clark struck out in her only at-bat against Pickens.
Clark in her own right could end this thing.
There's a tremendous story over on Clemson Plus about the story of Mackenzie Clark, adopted with her biological brother, has battled through adversity through her entire life, playing in her 180-something games. She has certainly earned the spot as we take a look at how close that was to the belt buckle.
She is that good, though. I mean, Clark is just outstanding.
It's a hit in front of Cagle. 2-0 swing, finds Faw's glove. Throw is high. Clark will head to second. That throw is high, and Clemson has the winning run in scoring position.
Well, I'll give you the good news, okay? The winning run's at second base. Let me give you the bad news. Valerie Cagle is not going to go get a pitch to hit right here.
Wow, a good throw. Might have had her at second.
We have just bragged on Faw, but she got a little aggressive there. Not a lot you could do about it. And
we're going to have a meeting in the circle, but first, Coach Weekly. Yeah, go ahead.
I think she's going to ask, did she come off the bag when she slid? Or
being told she has to stay in fair territory to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Here's her look. I'm thinking it stands.
I don't think you can overturn it, but there again, I'm not going to. They're taking a long time.
So Valerie Cagle is due up, and there's your ruling from Jim Cooper. Meanwhile, Pickens did not throw a ball.
No, she did not stay loose.
But as we imagine, with an open base, we may have 4 loose balls here.
How loose you got to be to intentionally walk Valerie Cagle? So that's what's about to happen here.
And you got to make sure these throws are away from the plate.
Yeah, but this is good. This is going to be 4 straight right here.
And the fans are now getting notice. Meanwhile,
this is the only decision that Coach Karen Weekly has. If you don't walk her and it don't work out, you can't go back into the state of Tennessee.
And there's no slouch on deck in Aaliyah Lungaleo.
But.
Right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that Clark swing was ruled a single for those keeping score at home.
Well, how about that?
And an error on the shortstop Fall to push her to second. So the Sage is set.
All right, I'm going to set you something up right here. Now, Clark's job out at second base is score. Mackenzie Clark score. If you're Valerie Cagle, you get to second base and you don't move.
Right.
If you're Aaliyah Lungaleo, you cross first base and you don't make a big turn. Get a ball through the infield.
Three-time All-ACC shortstop takes a questionable strike on the inner half. 0 for 2 against Pickens, 0 for 3 today for Lungaleo. Had a pair of no-doubters this past weekend against NC State. Creams one foul down the left field line in the count 0-2.
Had a little bit of drama here in the bottom of the 8th.
There's been drama in every inning.
This has been a lot of fun.
Clemson back in action Thursday, a doubleheader against Minnesota right here on the ACC Network Extra at 4. And time is called by Pickens.
And you know, you got the pitch clock now these days. And Coach Rittman is going to come down and go, hey, the pitch clock was off. I mean, she called timeout right there. That is not the intent of the rule.
And now Weekly wants to know if Rittman is going to get used as a timeout on that. So both coaches will plead their case.
Well, if we're getting into case plea, and I'm going to put my money on Weekly.
We have over 2,000 wins between these two veteran coaches. One big one at stake here. 0-2 to Lungaleo. Chopper to second, Rodriguez to first, and we are headed to the 9th. Pickens with an emotion.
With the shortstop Foff for Tennessee, but Brown has met the challenge over at third base for the Tigers today.
How about this? That's her 5th assist.
That's a lot.
Of this contest as Pooney falls behind. She's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts against Cagle, as the UNC transfer has held her own in the hot corner. Pooney finds the glove of Lungaleo. Hitting coaches, fielding coaches, every coach can just turn away on that one.
Yeah. You don't know how good you got to be to make a play and not look at it.
Oh, what a clutch second out for this Clemson defense.
In defense, she had the ball sighted in the glove before she winced.
Power hitting
that
Riley.
Ball was hit hard. Sorry, partner.
No, Riley West coming to the plate. It was hit hard. In fact, Tennessee has now barreled 4 of the last 6 swings that they've had in play against Cagle.
Yes. Well, this is I guess their 4th or 5th time through the batting order. They've seen her enough now. They ought to know.
Yep, West 1 for 3 with a single back in the 4th. Count pushes to 2-0. It's the 130th pitch from Cagle. First extra inning game this season for Tennessee. Clemson walked off against UConn a few weeks ago.
Well, you don't want this. Be careful here. You got a hitter up there that's very, very capable.
Meanwhile, the skies have opened a smidge. It is drizzling here at McWhorter. A strike keeps the at-bat alive against West with Sophia Nugent on deck. Base runners have been hard to come by here in extras.
Yes, they have. They've been hard to come by just about all day.
Just 9 total hits. And a hitter's count. Puts West on with 2 outs.
Okay, let me, 2 outs. You get behind 3-0. A lot of worse things could happen than Walker right there. That's a young woman who can hit the ball way out of the park. All those things. You don't want to throw a crippled pitch up there. And when I say crippled pitch, I mean where the pitches are completely in favor of the batter.
So it brings up the OU transfer in Nugent. And fittingly, the last time Clemson reached the 9th inning against Oklahoma in that fateful Supers. It ended the season for the Tigers last year. 1-0. Golfed foul down the right field line. And for those curious, Clemson's bullpen is quiet.
Oh, this is Gagle's game. I mean, you know, the heavyweight throw in the bullpen. Well, they got nobody better down there to throw. I mean, you just really, I mean, they've got, both teams have very fine pitchers. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, you've got the two best pitchers maybe in the Southeast going at each other right now.
A dangerous batter at the plate as the rise ball misses 2-1. Meanwhile, this is unmarked territory for Cagle. The most pitches that she has thrown in her collegiate career before today was 127. Sitting at 138 right here.
Where's that change up at right here?
Good smother behind home plate by Vieira.
And the runner at first is going to be going, so you got to guard the gaps if you're the outfield. A ball that splits the outfield, the runner from first could conceivably score.
Payoff pitch, runner on the move, and it's laced to deep right center. Clark watches it hit the top of the wall. Moving around third, throw home is late, and the Lady Vols take the lead. Nugent makes her mark in her first season.
And the ball was hit sharply.
One more look to see Clark's path, and she never could have caught that.
No, she couldn't catch that ball. She did everything she could do to deke the base runner. But as you saw, West got in there easily.
The transfer from Oklahoma with her 13th RBI here in 2024, and none bigger. As
you got a pinch hitter coming up right now.
yeah, I was waiting to see if they were going to run for the catcher, but instead it's going to be Alana Leach, the freshman, hitting for Taylor Panel.
Leach hitting 296. Got 3 RBIs on the season. He's got limited at bats.
The next pitch will be 140.
Nope, wait a
Now
minute.
Weekly wants timeout again.
Now we're going to get the pinch
This is some
runner.
gamesmanship, Coach.
Yes, this is definitely.
This is well designed by one of the true veterans in the coaching world. And now Amanda Aylen will run. Excuse me, all in.
Number 88, Amanda All-In.
And this feels like one of the bigger moments to get an insurance run on the road in extras.
Well, that would be huge. If you notice, Recorder Stadium got a little quiet after that double.
There's a small group wearing a different shade of orange making noise. Ground ball down the first baseline, handled by Hiller. And we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Moore, Vieira, and Johnson. Abby Leach will come in and patrol the other corner outfield. A pair of freshman twins add speed in the outfield for Tennessee, and Maddie Moore, who has reached twice today, will lead it off against Pickens and just miss drilling one down the left field line.
Yeah, just foul. The Leach sisters must be defensive specialists.
Yeah, a pair of freshmen whose older sisters, Aubrey and Kelsey, are former Tennessee softball student athletes as well.
They must have got a group discount.
A 1 letter high and evens the count. Pickens, 5 innings, 2 hits, 3 strikeouts. As we see the other Leach, sandwiched by Malloy in center. Five, 6, 7 for the Tigers, and it's a swing happy Moore.
Yeah, that might have been ball 2.
Might have hit her in the leg.
Yeah.
A single to help set up the run in the 4th inning. 1 for 2 against Pickens. And the 1-2 is fouled back. Remember, Moore had that 9-pitch walk in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, she's a battler, and she's a very good softball player. She needs to do everything she can within her arsenal to get on base.
Abby Vieira 0 for 3 on deck. Kylie Johnson 0 for 2 in the hole. Hyatt and Oda to follow. 1-2 is hit well foul. Might have had the distance. It did have the distance.
It clearly had the distance.
Wow, that carried.
That ball just kept going. I told you with the wind down, this park carries.
200 down the left field line, 220 to straightaway center. Some anxious fans out on the burn. The 1-2 is tipped foul. Looks like Moore is certainly on it.
Yes. It's been 1-2 for about 30 minutes.
Pickens 7-2 this season with an 0.84 ERA.
And she has been as good as advertised.
1-2 is just taken out of the glove of Nugent.
She's doing everything she can to stay alive.
Two dribbled up the middle, diving, and it gets by Rodriguez for a leadoff single.
See what happens when you battle and you battle and you battle and you battle. Now, this is an interesting thing coming up here. You got Ali Vieira up. She has already sacrificed once today. Or attempted. She did
She
sacrifice.
did. She sacrificed. It was
More.
a great play by...
Yeah. And you really, really wonder now at this point in the game, would you be in the home team? Do you waste an out? Or do you let her swing away? She's had a lot of big hits.
And that middle infield is far from second base. I'd think about potentially running. Defense plays for the bunt. Vieira swings away and skies one to right. Leach, fresh into the contest, will line it up and make the grab for out number 1. And there's that 1 pitch out you talked about.
Yeah, that's when you get them that cheap.
She was thinking 1 swing and the game's over.
Yes, she was. But you got to be sure, you know, that every pitch is so important at this point in time in the game.
So the freshman in Kylie Johnson, a walk and a fly out. A little late. Her 3rd at-bat today against Pickens.
See, that out does just a world of good for Pickens' confidence, or approach, or swagger.
Corner infield still thinking bunt. Moore has 6 stolen bases. Was caught stealing 3rd earlier, and this time there will be a pitch clock violation issued, and Weekly is out there in an instant. Jim Cooper's not hearing anything.
That was
count is 1-1.
That was definitely her.
Got the new 22nd pitch clock this season. It's already at 15. Moore at first. Johnson at the plate. And a borderline ball. Pickens asking whether it was outside. And there's a look at our pitch clock under the right field scoreboard. And it's already at 12, Coach.
Yeah.
They're not wasting time starting that.
No, you're not supposed to.
I know.
You're supposed to start as soon as that ball hits the glove.
A filthy changeup evens the count 2-2.
And that was a fine pitch right there. Kind of getting down to it right now, aren't we, partner?
Yeah, we certainly are. We thank you so much for joining us today. As Clemson down to their final 2 outs. Tennessee looking for a hard hit ground ball. 2-2, got her swinging. And the reaction from Pickens, maybe a little bit towards the umpire as well.
That was toward everybody. She's happy about the out. She's happy about getting even with it. She's happy about the fact that she's 1 out away from winning this game.
And it comes down to the DP, JoJo Hyatt.
And man, would she love to somehow get Oda to the plate.
The senior from Buford. Out to the 5-6 hole in the deep depths of short. Fall makes the throw, and Tennessee comes to Clemson and wins in extras.
And won a terrific